Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Madam Rusliyawati and my beloved friends, my name is Nisa Elvia Wintami with student number B10341810007. I am a student of Accounting International Class 2018. Now, I would like to present the environmental analysis of Starbucks. It's submitted as an assignment of strategic management midterm exam. So, let's get started. On the story of Starbucks website, I found that behind every cup of coffee is a story. So enjoy some of our favorite along with all the latest news from the storyteller at Starbucks Stories. Then let's move on to the company profile. But before that, we will talk about the contents covered in our discussion today. After we know the profile of the company, the profile of the Starbucks, so we will conduct the analysis. The analysis started with SWOT analysis to know the external and internal factors that affect the company, and then we will move on to the analysis that focus on the external area. Then we will move on to the internal environment within the company. So now the company profile of Starbucks. As you can see here, Starbucks story began in 1971. So it founded on 30th March of 1971, which is 50 years ago, by Jerry Baldwin and others. Back then, there were a roaster and retailer of whole bean and ground coffee, tea, and spices with a single store in Seattle's Pike Place Market. But today, they are privileged to connect with millions of customers every day with exceptional products and more than 30,000 retail stores in 83 markets. They serve so many areas, right? For the industry, they focus on the coffee shop. So, as the Starbucks has introduced, let's move on to the analysis, especially environmental analysis. We will start it by SWOT analysis to know the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. Which one will start? External or the internal one? So let's start with the internal one, right? As the internal related to the elements within the organization, including current employees, management, and corporate culture. So we will talk about those things, the related factors. In the company, there are strength and weakness. What the strength of this company? What the strength of the Starbucks? I give three strengths of Starbucks, which are strategic location of Starbucks. As we know that in Pontianak here, we can go to Starbucks at Mega Mall in Pontianak, and for many countries, the location will be the strategic one, right? Then the second strength is the Starbucks always try their best to to create good relation with their customer. I am one of the customer of Starbucks, then I got good service from them. Then as this company want to inspire other people, so they provide cozy store atmosphere. So there are the three strengths of Starbucks. Then the weaknesses. The weakness of Starbucks here, we know that maybe many people in Kalimantan Barat, Pontianak, or in Indonesia have low salary, low income, not really high. So the price of some products that offered by Starbucks are more expensive than the competitors. Maybe as it sells the coffee, maybe we can buy the coffee with the cheaper one in other market or in other store. So it is the weakness of Starbucks. Let's move on to the second weakness, which is complex management. As it has so many stores and it serves 83 countries around the world. So the management will be complex. The third one is doesn't offer heavy meals like KFC and I don't know how to spell it. Maybe Awe. I'm really sorry. I have a limitation to spell Awe. Okay, like KFC, as I am a student, sometimes at break time, I just go to the Kentucky Fried Chicken store because I'm so hungry. With maybe not, I don't need to spend much money, but I can't be full. How about if I go to Starbucks? I just drink the coffee and I'm still hungry with much more money that I spend than when I go to the Kentucky Fried Chicken store. So maybe there are the three weaknesses of Starbucks, and then let's move on to the opportunities. The opportunities here is we know that one of external factors which is outside of the company control. Then the factors are, first one, globalization and technological advance, which make it easier to Starbucks to penetrate a wider market. So maybe they can do good advertisement, promotion on with the technology, with the cheaper cheaper cost to promote their product. And then second opportunities is many Indonesians are consumptive. Yeah, we know we all like to buy goods. So it's opportunities for the seller or for the company that have focused to sell the product. And the third one is demographic bonus. As we are so consumptive, then the amount of people in Indonesia always increase each day, each month, each year. So it is a big opportunity for the Starbucks. Furthermore, demographic bonus will provide a good employee for Starbucks. We know that demographic bonus is the phenomenon that many productive people in a country which is in the productive age. So maybe it can provide a good employee, good staff for the Starbucks itself. Then let's move on to the threat. The threat as I said before, the weakness of Starbucks is have high price or over high prices of the product. Then the competitors may sell drinks and beverages with a lower price. So it's the truth. The second one is lockdown. As we know that all of us face the epidemic of COVID-19. So the lockdown maybe cause people tends to buy the cheaper one. Not the Starbucks, maybe we can go to other store. Or maybe we just need a bottle of coffee that sold in the mini market, which is maybe 3,000 rupiah, which the Starbucks is around 50,000, 40,000. Big distance. So maybe people tend to buy the cheaper one in the mini market. It's enough. And then many substitute products like tea, juice, and etc. For example, we can buy what is it? What KFC over there? What is it? Maybe I forgot. But it's a drink that offered by the KFC. So maybe we prefer to buy the drinks that offered by the Kentucky Fried Chicken store, or maybe the tea, or maybe we like the mineral water. That's it. So there are the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threat of Starbucks. Let's move on to the next analysis. We will move on to the macro, external, environment analysis. But before that, we need to know what is macro, external, environment. So the macro, external environment is the external environment that doesn't directly affect the activities of the business world. Here we will conduct EFE matrix, and there are three consumers of Starbucks as informant that I will present the result. Then the informant will rank its external factor with a certain value. So there are four value. Value 4 means great response. Value 3 means responding higher than the mean or the average. Value 2 responding average. Value 1 respond in lower than the mean. So based on the factors stated on the SWOT analysis before, so the EFE matrix will be here. Now the external factor, as I said before, that we have three informants. Yeah, here the first column is number, the second column is the factors, and the third to fifth column is the answer of our informant. In Indonesia, narasumber 1, narasumber 2, narasumber 3, and we will calculate the value that's stated by the informant. So like here for the point 1, the opportunities is globalization and technological advance. Informant 1 give value 4, informant 2 give value 3, informant 3 give value 4, then the total of their value is 11. So we will count the bobot. What is bobot in English? Yeah, the bobot. Maybe we can we will try to have bilingual language here. Okay, the bobot, it sounds great, right? We can count the bubble by the amount of informant 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, divided by 54 here, total of all at the lowest row. So we got 0.2. Then how about the red? The red can be got by the amount 11 here divided by the total informant. As we have 3 informants, so 11 divided by 3, we got 3.67. And we will count the bobot. The bobot multiplied by red, 0.2 multiplied by 3.67, then we got 0.73. And the opportunities here, opportunities 1, 2, 3, we total it with the amount of 2.24, and then the trade, we got the total of 0.92, and the total of all the opportunities and trade is 3.16. As the conclusion, based on the EFE matrix, the company's position is in quadrant 1. This position indicates a very profitable position of a company. So as we done external environment analysis of macro, let's move on to the micro one. The micro external environment is the external environment that contributes the direct to the activities of the business world. As before we did it by matrix, now we will do it with 5 forces tools. So according to the 5 forces model, there are 5 things that can determine the level of competition and market attractiveness in an industry, such as A. Competitive rivalry or competition, which is strong force. B. Bargaining power of buyers or customer. 3. Bargaining power of suppliers. D. Trade-off substitutes or substitution. And the last one is trade-off new entrants or new entry. So the first model will be like for the competitive rivalry or competition with Starbucks Coffee Company, which is strong force. Starbucks faces the strong force of competitive rivalry of competition in the food service of coffee house industries. There are large number of firms, moderate variety of firms, and low switching costs. Then the bargaining power of buyers. There are 3 factors here. The first one is low switching costs. Second one, high substitute availability. The third one, small size of individual buyers. Then the bargaining power of supplier are consists of moderate size of individual suppliers, high variety of suppliers, and large overall supply. The third is trade-off substitution, which are high substitute availability, low switching costs, and high affordability of substitute product. So related with the SWOT analysis that we have discussed before. And then the threats of new entrants. There are moderate costs of doing business, moderate supply chain costs, high costs of brand development. Then we have done the discussion of external environment analysis. So let's move on to the internal one, the internal environment analysis. But before that, let us understand what is internal environment. It is all the human and physical resources that affect the organization. Here we conduct IFE matrix to know it. So there are three consumers of Starbucks as important, like the EFE matrix before. Then there are four value too, like the EFE matrix. So based on the SWOT analysis, we arrange the IFE matrix follows. To the calculation, it 11-12 with the EFE matrix. Same lah. Jadi untuk perhitungannya itu sama, tapi kan tadi kita tuh bahasa Inggris, nah ini bahasa Indonesianya mungkin untuk mendapatkan pemahaman yang lebih dapat dimengerti gitu. Kalian tadi perlu buka-buka translate lagi kan, kalau ini enggak. Nah yang pertama ini faktornya adalah strategic location of Starbucks. Jadi kita ada 3 informan, 3 narasumber tadi, itu memberikan nilainya yang informan pertama itu kasih nilai 4, informan kedua kasih nilai 3, informan ketiga kasih nilai 4. Nah kita totalin nilainya, dapatlah jumlahnya 11. Dari jumlah 11 ini kita kan mau mencari bobot. Mencari bobot 0,20 ini didapatkan dari 11 dibagi di baris paling bawah dalam kolom 11 ini, dalam kolom amount itu adalah 55. Jadi 11 dibagi 55 dapatlah 0,2. Nah kalau untuk ratingnya itu kita bisa dapatkan dari amount yang 11 ini dibagi jumlah informan kita ada berapa? Ada 3 kan narasumber kita. Jadi 11 dibagi 3 kita dapatkan 3,67. So bobot dikali ratingnya itu nilainya 0,73. Nah untuk strength dan weakness kita jumlahkan, dapatlah kita nilainya 3,09. 3,09 ini berada pada kuadran pertama, yang mana lebih dari 3 nggak salah itu ya, itu udah masuk kuadran pertama. So posisi ini mengindikasikan bahwa perusahaan ini dalam posisi yang sangat menguntungkan. Nah lanjut. Now the end of the presentation. So maybe I would like to conclude the presentation. We have now, as we have talked about the Starbucks company, and we did the analysis of it, started by SWOT analysis, move on to the external and internal factor. I would like to conclude that it's really useful to us to learn how to know the next strategy of the company. Based on this analysis, the company can formulate next strategy. For example, we know that the weakness of Starbucks before is the high price of its product. So maybe Starbucks will lower the price. And then for the opportunities area before, the advance of technology. So maybe as the Starbucks know the opportunities, then they will use it wisely. So maybe they can promote their product with social media, to interact with us. And then like the trade, the substitute product, the new entrant, maybe as the company know about it, they can arrange better strategy for the next, what the company will do. And for the EFE and IFE matrix, it will help the management to know whether the company is very profitable position or not. Yang mungkin kalau misalnya dari EF matrix tadi, kalau misalnya berada di posisi sangat menguntungkan itu bisa dipertahankan dan dilanjutkan. Tapi kalau misalnya ada di posisi yang tidak menguntungkan, mungkin perlu ditambah lagi gitu, ditingkatkan lagi strateginya. Nah begitu ya. I think that's all from me. Thank you for the attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.